thing that impressed me with Joe, and the reason that I want to promote this as much as we can, Mary, is because of the college students, of young people. And here's a guy who's been through it down to his last dollar, and all of a sudden, now he's out. University of Massachusetts and some of these other colleges that are going to take him on, and that's why I wanted him at the luncheon and on our program.
Well, one of the things, and Joe, you and I were talking before the show started a little bit about online gambling. And that is huge because, again, especially the younger demographic, the young kids, they're on the computer all the time. So it's a way of life. And there it's so instant. It's so immediate, isn't it, Joe?
It's so instant. It's so easy. And it's so unregulated. One of the big disappointments that I had with online poker is it was so easy for any kid to log on without any real way to verify anything, as long as you had access to a bank account and could sign in. And, God forbid a young kid gets in on their parents' account and just sort of logs in and loses the money in the account. Right now, the online poker shutdown has been big news in the poker world, with the U.S. seizing the top 3 sites.
And that was just within the past couple of weeks?
That was in the past couple of weeks, yeah. I think it was almost like 3 weeks ago at this point that poker players refer to it as, quote-unquote, Black Friday. And there's a lot going on. I'm sure this will be a hot-button issue. I actually wrote a blog about it, which is on my website, www.intothemuck.com. I do keep up and editorialize kind of a little bit with the things going on. But basically with the online poker shutdown, we're not really sure how the government's going to respond to it. There definitely needs to be some sort of taxation because of the billion-dollar industry that it's created. But as far as more regulations, I really strongly think that there needs to be a better way to enforce the way that it's used and who is using it. But, after reading other pieces, I'm not so sure 100% that it's even possible to regulate the industry. That's how powerful it is.
Goodness.
Wow.
And again, I'm thinking back to what you were saying earlier, Joe, in terms of the mind of a teenager, that invincibility. We don't think we're going to get addicted. Nothing's going to happen to me sort of thing. And that is so true. That's so true. So when you speak to young people, how do you get your message across that you think they are going to hear it?
Well, my whole technique almost is, I'm not here to tell you this is going to happen to you. I'm not here to preach this is what happens to everyone. I'm here to give you some insight into the other side of the coin. It's if you want to do this and if you're going to do this, that's fine. And, I'm by no means anti-gambling, but it's about knowing all and everything about what you're about to do. It's like when you go into a job profession, you don't just go in without knowing what you're going to do. I mean, you have to see both sides of it. And unfortunately, there's only one side of it being shown. And, I'm hopefully at the forefront of bringing out that other side because not a lot of people are talking about it. It's like I said before, it's one of those hot button issues and addictions that, doesn't even want to be recognized. I've spoken at conferences where, health conferences where gambling isn't even listed as part of the addictions. So, it's just so, it's looked at so weird that I'm still trying to figure it out.
That's right. And as you said earlier, through ESPN and all the national and international media that poker challenges have been given, it's been glamorized. Yeah. It has been glamorized. So what's that expression? Information is power. So you're informing them, and again, you can't make decisions for them, but giving them all the information, the pros and the cons. So at least they know. Yeah,
and one of the things with ESPN that I was really disappointed in finding out was they really aired their coverage of poker has increased dramatically since 2003. And recently when the online poker shut down, it came to find out that they were receiving 8 figures to broadcast poker on their television.
8 figures.
8
wow.
figures. So ESPN has remained really quiet about this whole thing, and they're one of the people that I call out to because one of the worst pieces I've ever seen about gambling, it was done by ESPN's E60, which is their news reporters, and they feature 4 days in the life of Phil Ivey, the quote-unquote greatest poker player on the planet. And I blog about it, and I actually show it in some of my speeches because it's so over-the-top dramatized in gambling and promoting it that it actually is a little disturbing.
Joe, give your website one more time if you would.
It's www.intothemuck.com. You can purchase the book on Amazon or on the website. There's a purchase book link that links you to Amazon. It's also on Kindle. So
you're going to be selling your books at Brad's Luncheon?
Yes, I will have some books coming to the luncheon, yeah.
Joe Turbessi, Into the Muck. quite a story, quite a life, quite a success at this point, and quite a speaker.
Keep up the good work, Joe.
Thank you, guys.
Glad
Thank
that
you so
for having me on the show. I really
Glad
do.
that I had
Thank
a
you
chance
so
to
much.
meet you. And again, you folks who want to make your reservations for June the 6th at Adams Mill in Manchester, the three of us will be there. 860-646-4039, 860-646-4039, or go to talkofconnecticut.com.